Hi, my name's Thomas. I'm a transgender guy living here in Los Angeles, California, and something just changed in my life that is something that I've sort of been hoping for a long time. Actually, my whole life, really. Um, because of the recent changes in healthcare, it looks like I might possibly be able to get chest surgery and be able to afford it for the first time in my life. Um, I started on hormones when I was about 21 years old. I'm 35 now, so you can imagine the whole past 14 years I've been wishing that I could get chest surgery, but just not able to afford it, and actually not having too much access to people who perform those types of surgeries as well. Um, I wanted to document this journey, um, partly for myself, and so that I'll have something to look back on having started the process and hopefully having completed it, in the next year or two. Um, I wanted to talk about this as I go so that the next person coming along who might have to go through the same thing can learn from some of my experiences and the positives and the negatives and things that I go through in my process, and maybe just also to be able to give some tips on how to get through it a little bit more easily. Um, on Friday, I went to see my primary care doctor and actually start this process. And there's a very strict process that trans people have to go through to be recommended for surgery. And so my next appointment is going to be not this Monday, but the following Monday with a counselor who is going to hopefully be able to give me my surgical letter of recommendation. And then hopefully I'll get sort of put into a group of folks that they're going to try to get through this fall, and hopefully to be put on a waiting list. So it's a long process and it's a long road, but I have waited this long, so I'm willing to wait a little bit longer if that's what it takes. Um, One of the things that makes it so difficult and makes the process take so much time is that a lot of healthcare providers don't actually work with trans people. This is true of endocrinologists who, if you call just any endocrinologist, they'll tell you, well, I don't really work with trans people. You have to find someone who's a specialist. The same thing is true for surgeries, even though some of these same surgeries are almost identical to some of the things that are already performed on um, biologically born women or cis women. Uh, People don't make themselves as available to perform the surgeries on trans people. And that's just something that we need to work on in the medical community. But for me personally, you know, I remember when I was a little kid and all the other kids started going through puberty and they thought it was the greatest thing. It was scary and exciting, but a positive thing. And I remember how out of place I felt because of the fact that for me, it was devastating. It was like a life sentence to be something that I wasn't. And so it's taken me a long time to get to the point uh, where I could sort of own myself and figure this out for me. And a lot of people will say, because I'm so small chested, well, you don't really need to do that. And it's not that important. And some people have just said to me, I don't think you should do it. I don't think that that's what you should be doing with your body at all. And my response to that is it has to do with the way that it makes me feel. I have 2 degrees, but I've never really made much money in life. And a lot of that has to do with self-confidence. When you're constantly worrying about how other people are seeing you, I think that it gets in the way of opportunities. And it gets in the way of creating the relationships that create opportunity. And it makes you more introverted than you would normally be. And I'm already an introverted person to begin with in a lot of ways. It's easy for me to sit here and talk in a almost one-on-one type of way. But large groups, I'm not always a big fan of that sort of thing. But for me, it's I'm constantly conscious of my chest. If I put on a seatbelt, I'm worrying about it. If I'm walking up the street and the wind starts to blow in my direction too much, I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it if I have to wear something that has any kind of strap that goes around in this way. I'm just constantly aware. And, the places that I feel excluded from are places like going swimming in the pool or going to the beach or things like that. It's like I always have to hide myself, and it makes the experience, rather than being a fun thing, something that I'm always conscious of and that I'm stressed out about, and then it just kind of keeps me from participating in those types of things. So for me, it's a necessity, and I'm hoping that now it'll be something that is affordable in my life, and a way that maybe my self-image will improve and my self-confidence will improve, because I have access to that. And I'm pretty much okay with myself when I look in the mirror these days, even with my chest. It's just that it's the one thing, that I feel holds me back from feeling like myself. I'm not interested in other surgeries. I'm just that one thing, So, thanks for listening to me. And as things progress and I start to go through the process, I'll talk more about it. Thanks.